Hi guys, I want to spend a few minutes today going over some tips and tricks for part three, and this is based on your work so far that I've seen in parts one and two. So first of all, when we get to our predictions, I want to start seeing three different things in your predictions. I think we have enough background now where we can start making some guesses, looking at the changes to the mother line, y equals x. How might that affect the slope, the y-intercept, and the correlation? So as you are going through, make sure you are addressing those three things. Now, I do want to talk about correlation real quick. Correlation can be either positive or negative, and later on we'll talk about how there's no correlation. But right now, let's just talk about positive or negative. In a positive correlation, the line is going to rise up from left to right. So imagine you start at the left hand of a graph all the time, and you come to a hill. Does this hill take you up? If so, it's a positive correlation. Now again, if I start at the left of my graph and I get to a hill and this hill takes me down, that's going to be a negative correlation. So keep that in mind as you are looking at these and saying, oh, I have a positive correlation, or oh, I have a negative correlation from what you are witnessing. Okay, now let's get back to this. So that's the three things you're going to talk about. I'm going to show you a couple of things. First of all, you want to fill in every square in the table, even if you're not going to use it, okay? Because we're going to talk about it later on to find patterns. So these are going to be really important to have. So let's first of all start by filling in this table. So let's plug in all these x values for this equation, first of all. And you have 2/3 times x. So 2/3 times -3 is going to give you -2 because 2 times -3 is -6. -6 divided by 3 is -2. -2 times 2/3 is going to be -4/3. -1 times 2/3 is going to be -2/3. 0 times 2/3 is going to be 0. 1 times 2/3 is going to be 2/3. 2 times 2/3 is going to be 4/3. And 3 times 2/3 is going to be +2. Now, when I go to graph this, first of all, we're talking about lines. So there's only going to be 2 points that you're going to need to graph and then connect those 2 points. But your line needs to go through the whole graph. So let's look at the points that I have here and decide which ones we want to graph. Well, I don't want to graph those fractional parts because I don't know if I can get exact, but I can do -3, -2. So I'm going to start at my origin and go to -3 on the x, and then down 2 on the y. And then I'm going to take a point and I'm going to go to +3 on the x, +2 on the y. So there are my 2 points. Now I'm using the green boxes, so I'm going to plot these points here. Oops. All right, plot that one, and I'm going to make my line on my points. Okay, so now remember we said that we want our line to go through the whole graph though. Now that I've got those two in place, I can drag one side at a time and just make sure it stays on my red dots. So that's a really easy way to graph your lines so that they're going through my 2 points, okay? And you're going to do the same thing with 5/3 x. The summary. Now pay attention to these summaries. There's no prediction here. Right now we're looking at two different rules. What happens, now the first one is going to correspond to my green line. What happens to the original line when x is being multiplied by a fraction with a numerator greater than 1? So let's go back and look. What happened to my slope? Well, when I'm comparing it to the mother line, that hill is a little less steep to walk up. So my slope is going to get less steep. My y-intercept didn't change. It's still crossing the y-axis at 0, okay? So my y-intercept has no change, or you can say 0, 0. So you can actually tell me what the y-intercept is. And when I look at my correlation, left to right, if I were walking from the left up to this line, I'm going to look up. It's going to be an uphill. So my correlation in this case, is going to be positive, okay? You're going to do the same thing with the blue line, but in this case, look, we're looking at a improper fraction, okay? So the rule we're going to be looking at here is what happens to the original line when x is multiplied by a mixed number or an improper fraction, really, okay? Then you're going to continue with this prediction for 2x and negative 2x, and really we're looking at negative 2x here. So what's going to happen when x is multiplied by a negative? Insert your prediction. What do you think is going to happen to the slope, y-intercept, and correlation, or correlation? Then you're going to fill in the rule and then look at what you think negative y equals negative 10x is going to look like. When you get to your algebra exercises, I've made a little change. First of all, if you join our Hangout today, you can stop at slide 7. 8 and 9 will get done during our Hangout. But if you need a refresher, you can watch this video. It's the same as on part 2. Then you're going to spin the wheel in our Canvas assignment, and then create a video of yourself demonstrating both the mother line and the graph of the equation you spun. So when you get down here, slight change, just insert your video. We're not going to worry about the coordinate plane. So tell me what your equation was. Show me your video of you showing the mother line and the equation that you spun. Now, when you're doing this, I want you to watch your video back. A lot of you, the videos that I've seen, your mother line is starting off with the wrong correlation. So watch it back and make sure the mother line has a positive correlation. So when you're looking at your video, make sure that you are showing your original line as being a positive correlation, okay? Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope to see you at our Hangouts.